And good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon, otherwise known as Luke. Sorry for the impromptu stream. I will probably say get used to it, just because we're less than 20 days away from us getting on the road and heading to RMRRF. So it just finally dawned on me today, and I was like, oh dear God, the amount of stuff I have to get done. So welcome on in, everybody. How's it going, Chewy? Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. So today's going to be a little bit of schizophrenic stream. We will talk RMRRF. We will talk Trident 350 and work on the Trident 350 some. You may notice possibly some changes back here. It got a little bit taller. I did go ahead and put the Devil Designs feet on the Creality, and I have actually printed parts to do a riser. And what that's going to do is just raise the top up some so I can run this. The riser will have vent panels in it, right? So closed, open, closed, open. So I'll be able to run it with the door itself, or the top shut and the door shut, and still run it, which is going to be needed, as I'm going to need to be running lots of printers going crazy. It will come together, have no fear. Yes, it will, but I'm going to freak out until I get there. Like, this is still Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer, right? We had the base put together. The treads still aren't on it. One tread is complete. Guess I should take a look and see if I need to print any extra ones for this one. But I believe one tread is complete, and the other one, yes, one tread's complete. The other one, I have to reprint 2 treads because they're jacked up, and in doing so, I'm almost out of black TPU 95 from Polymaker, and I don't really want to mix TPUs on the treads if I don't have to. Also, I had to resort to cutting the extra couple of rods that I need. Evil Diesel had some spare rods from when we converted ours to a Mechanism, so he provided those to me, and I did the cutting today on some of them. I'm apparently going to need a couple more to get that. Hey, Penny Ruxpin, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, like Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer. You know, the one that's not completely designed yet, that I'm still waiting for some design elements from Evil Diesel. Yeah, apparently he was working on that some this weekend as we were over at Echovate, and he had Mrs. Dragon sitting right next to him, so they were doing some design review stuff, apparently, trying to get things squared away and ready. What else? Anything else? I don't know. Speaking of this weekend, we were out at Echovate 3D for their, for the first Maker Mashup or Maker Meetup, which I was hosting, and it was a great success. It went over well. We had lots of people there. I would say well, there was a couple of people that wound up staying even later because we had a torrential downpour that hit, and Dragon got wet because we had ordered food from the wing place a few doors down. it was ready. It was pouring like crazy, so I had to run out and get food and come back. So yeah, got the soaking wet dragon. Like I said, my brain's going kind of kerfuffled. The reason I'm stressing a bit as well is, as you saw, that was a black base. We still have to do the side panels, and this is going to be the front of her Death Racer. This is a dragonfly head. We added the air inlets there because there is a spot for a fan so that you don't cook your ESCs. But this is going to have to be painted by hand because there's no way that we're going to get the right shading and stuff just trying to paint with filament. So I've got to do that. I think Evil Diesel sent me the driver's head for Miss Dragon, so I have to print that out and figure out if we're going to wind up having to paint that as well. And then I still don't have the back end done because it's in redesign right now. So a lot of crazy stuff. The other thing that we have to do is get hello. There we go. We need to get the rat rig set and ready to do dual TPU. Okay. Actually, let me hold off there once again. Scatterbrained. Welcome on in, Chewy. Lost Inc. Welcome in. Eddie Ruxpin, Pez Liz. What's up, Liz? Is that chill mode? Yes, chill mode. How's it going? Welcome in. You should have listened to your warnings about the ERCF build. I've given up on it and will be repurposing most of the bomb for a Happy Turtle lettuce feeder while I wait for my box turtle kit to arrive. There you go, Petty. Like I said, nothing against the ERCFA. It works well once you get it dialed in. And I am convinced that anything that's got a D shaft that is like that long probably isn't going to be working as well as we want it to. Like, it would almost be better if they used an 8mm shaft motor and did a direct coupler to, or well, even a standard motor, but used an 8mm rod. That would almost be better. Not the dragon. Yep, it's the dragon. Yeah, but I got news for you. I came to realize later that night when I finally got home, which was around 9 something. Like, the store was open till 8. Me and Evil Diesel left Echovate at 9. And yeah. Let's just say I got home and I was like, why am I just exhausted? Other than the fact it felt like a mini show to me. Yeah, that food that we got, the wings that we got from down the street, that was the first time I ate that day. So yeah, Dragon did not do really good self-care that day. Okay. Thought for a second something had stopped printing. And by the way, folks, this is LDO Sparkle Turtle Green and Turtle Gold ABS. These were the colors chosen by Jason and sent to me by Fabrico. Like, they overnighted me 3 spools of filament to get the parts printed before Rocky Mountain. Because I am now building a box turtle at Rocky Mountain that will be given away during the show. So yeah, I've got let's see, I've got one more of the lanes printing, and I'll have one more to print, and then I get mad at that. Yeah, I've got 2 lanes printed. The third one's printing right now. I'll have one more to print, and then my 4 corners I have to reprint, simply because yeah, I'll just say I pulled an Austin. I pulled an Austin. If you don't know what that means, Liz can probably tell you. Hey, free heathen, how's it going, nerd? No, I came upstairs. I was like, great, the print's finished. And I pulled the print, and I was like, the print's not finished. Crap, it was a full plate of parts, so I put it in there and hoped that it finished. It finished, but there was a layer shift on all the tallest parts, which happened to be the 4 corner pieces. So I have to reprint those. Everything else is good. Exactly, Chewy and Petty. It takes a while to get tuned in. I mean, don't get me wrong, Box Turtle does as well, but the tuning of your Box Turtle is your purge and making sure your macros are doing the macro-y thing. Like, I make my macros go all in the same position versus park over here, purge and wipe over here, so you're not running back and forth. You purge, wipe, and park all in the same corner. So that's when I talk about tuning your macros. It's really not that hard. So if you bring the 2.4 and the Box Turtle with me, you're gonna config it at MRF. Sure, Chewy. If you bring it to MRF, I'll work on it at MRF. Like I said, I really didn't lose anything important, and it's not a long print. That's the other thing. Nah. Hey, Edge of 3D, how's it going? How'd you end up here? I have no clue. You vaped Nano again. That could be. That could be. Haven't tried that yet. Yeah, tariffs may kill momentum. That's true. So that's where I'm kind of losing it right now. So I'm printing some 3030 spool holder that will sit on the back of the rat rig, which is now an IDEX, and I'm going to try and print some of the treads for KB3D's Death Racer in dual TPU. Yes, it would be great to do it over here, but that's a 4040, and I'm going to have to do these direct. I'm not going to be able. I'm going to have to try and make it as direct and as minimal of a filament path as possible. And doing it with the IDEX is going to be easier than trying to do it over here on the tool changer with the way the tool changer, cable chain, and everything runs. So if it wasn't TPU, boom, right over here. But because it's TPU, I'm going to have to pop the top lid, mount it on the back, and try it, or maybe even do 2 of these, mount them on the side, and try and get it as short as possible. Yeah, IDEX for the win. Yeah, filament's going to be well, here's the thing that's interesting, Petty. There's several stateside filament producers. Where are they getting their resin pellets from? That's the big thing. Where is the initial resin pellets coming from? Yeah, don't recommend vaping nano. It burns for a long while. It'll have you turning down the volume on your mac and cheese, and you can taste, so you can taste the TV. Okay, there we go. Yeah, US made is nice. Don't that'll be great. Hey, Barry Printer, thanks for the gigantic dragon emote. That was awesome. Hey, Adam, welcome in. Eagle the Dragon, how's it going? A little bit early. Tomorrow will probably be closer, Eagle, but it's Wednesday, but who knows? I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to stream till every night to the show to get things done, or at least I'm working on stuff every night until the show. And probably taking stuff to work at the show. But when you put some quality into filament, 3D print a house, a few companies in Netherlands are busy with it. Yeah, printing a house would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I mentioned Trident. We've mentioned a few other things. I've got the Creality K1C running like mad right now, and I will say I've got the frame for a dragster printed, and for whatever reason, I decided I'm going to take it apart and completely reprint anything and everything related to it, because why not completely rebuild a drag racer that you've committed to bringing for a vendor, you know, with 2 weeks to go. So we're going to completely rebuild that and reprint it. Yeah, so the treads I think the treads are the only thing we need to finish for KB3D's Death Racer. I'm going to be completely reprinting the dragster, and I have all the other parts here. I mean, it's ready. It's like sitting on the box down there with all the parts in it. So I may go ahead and start prepping some of the things like the drive axle and stuff that I may have to cut to length and then put a D spot on. But we're going to get everything printed and just continue to do random project stuff between now and RMRRF. Meanwhile, in the middle of it, like I said, you know, adding parts to the printers that we're currently using to print with, because that makes perfect sense, right? Why is this? My laptop's acting ignorant. There we go. But Saturday went well. I'm going to just chat while I add one more thing to this that needs to get put back on here. Saturday went well for the first maker meetup here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We had several people attend the event. How did I? We had several people in attendance. Jedi Spidey came out from yeah, no, that's right. Jedi Spidey came up from Fayetteville. We had somebody drive out from the west side of the state, and we actually rebrained his artillery while he was here at the show or at the event. And then, and by rebrain, I mean we literally switched everything over from the base artillery maker base board to a Big Tree Tech SKR Mini E3 V3. And then had a couple of people there with some embedded electronics. We had some people there with various maker stuff. It wasn't all 3D printing related, which was cool. And then they did a Dungeons and Dragons one shot, which was nice to get some other people and other things from the community involved. Yeah, drag racer. Yeah, we're gonna do an Edge of 3D drag racer. I've got my drag racer that's still. I need to print new rear wings. Apparently, I only printed 2 of the front wings. I hadn't done the rear wings yet, so I need to print 2 of the rear wings in TPU because that's a requirement. And I'm trying to get all my TPU printing done on the Mark IV. So yeah. Respect to your YouTube channel too. Geez, ton of content, not even 1K subs. Yeah, so here's the thing, chill mode. So I stream on Twitch and I cross-pollinate all my Twitch streams over to YouTube because I can put them in playlists and they last longer there than over on Twitch. Twitch will drop things a lot quicker. And when I go to shows, I will actually have a QR code for each one of the build playlists of a printer that I'm showing. So if somebody comes up and are like, hey, you know, how'd you do this? They can actually scan the QR code and see. So like there's an initial build on this particular printer. Now all the upgrades that we just went through will actually be added to that playlist as well. So no, they don't look like dragon wings. They're just the regular wings. I printed this one, but my TPU was wet and it turned out like crap, and it's super soft. I probably need to add a little bit to it. The side wings are really soft. And I was going to reprint this anyhow, but yeah, it's pretty easy, pretty simple. I just need to get through and I've got some. I just ordered some more TPU 95 so I can do the treads because we're going to try and do some multicolor threads for KB3D, and I want to stay with the same manufacturer material type for that. But when I redo these, I might not wait for the TPU 95 to come in because I have some Tech 85A. So the dragster, the front wheels I have printed. I need to do the back wheels, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do a complete TPU wheel. I tried one. It layer shifted about 2/3 of the way through the tire, which made it useless, but proof of concept wise, it worked. You did a bunch the last few days? Yeah. So I'm going to be running a lot of TPU. Oh, thanks. No, yeah, we're actually printing, or we're building a dragster, and Edge of 3D, was here in chat. I don't know if he hung around or if he bounced. He was actually the one that designed them, and after the first year, I think they pretty much said, yeah, we need to go to TPU wings because we'll just say we had some off-track excursions, and yeah, those things hurt because I can tell you this, we have not. So where I live, they have chip sealed the roads, which basically means they lay down fresh tar and then they drop gravel over the top of it. So not a good place to try and test a dragster, right? Maybe a good test of a drift car, RC car, but not a dragster. And the couple of places that we went and tried, I mean, we couldn't even get it full open throttle, right? So, yeah, we're gonna get this one built for KB3D. We may actually be trying to tune it and get some stuff, but yeah, you had a lady get injured at Murph with a dragster gone wild. She couldn't wait to show her grandkids. The Karens, on the other hand, were freaking out. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's really cool. You know, the Death Racers, they have kits for. I'd love to see a kit for the dragster. I think that would be pretty cool if we can get one of those made. But I think, kind of going back to Echovate and doing the monthly maker meetups, they've got a sponsor for a content creator area. So once they get that built, I'm probably going to be the first in a line of local in-resident creators. You know, kind of do that in residence thing where you come in and you're like the content creator of the month or whatever. Yeah, in fact, I think she's trying to talk me into being the coordinator for that. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, there's a few things going on. Living the man cave dream, sort of. I will say my wife was conspiring with the owner of Echovate and has now offered up about 10 printers for her store to be display models. Because she wants them off the dining room table, and basically out of the dining room and out of the spare bedroom. So, but anyhow, so this is the Trident 350. I'll say from the bed down, no change, right? What we changed was the gantry. We went to the Siboor all metal CNC all-wheel drive gantry. So we now have motors at all four corners. And since we were doing that, I decided, okay, let's change the tool head as well. So we got rid of our Filomatrix and we went to a Takeoff tool head. So this is SLM printed, which basically means that it is is it centered layered metal? I think it is, or lasered metal. It's aluminum, but it's printed, not milled. So the top plate, the carriage, and the ducts in this case are all laser melted metal, laser centered metal. And we're using 3628 fans. These are 12-volt server fans. So these have to be wired all the way back to the board. I did put a tool head board on here. We're running a EBB42 at the tool head. Why? When really we have the extruder motor and the heater and thermistor plugged in. That's all we've got plugged in. Everything else, the beacon probe and the two fans, are home run back to the board. It probably would have made sense just to umbilical the whole thing. However, this was running CAN bus beforehand. So we had an SB2209 CAN bus board on here. Selective laser centering, selective laser metaling. No, SLM stands for something. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Hey, Von Dieselhart, how's it going? Speaking of which, so Von Dieselhart brought two of his printers to the maker meetup. He's the one that drove like 2 hours to get there. And yeah, we got it. everything repinned and attached. Now we just need to go through and do the Marlin config, or slap a Raspberry Pi in there as well and go clipper on it. But so yeah, we've got a little bit of upgrade here. By the way, you notice I didn't say what hot end we're running. So we're running the Chube Air hot end that I traded for at last RMRRF. We're also running an FXD. This was an initial run. I don't even know if this is a production run or one of the beta units. And I just got the A3DP motor that was custom made by LDO for this. This just came in, so this all got connected up Thursday night, I think I did it. But the tube, I traded a salad fork for the tube, and I traded a micron, or excuse me, no, the micron for the tube, and a salad fork for the FXD extruder, and a couple of other things. So yeah, this is basically a printer upgrade that started with the stuff that I traded for last year at RMRRF. And I had everything up and running after the last stream. However, I was having an issue getting the extruder to work reliably, and come to find out it's the teeth on, or the shaft on the motor I was trying to use was 5.2 millimeters long, which meant as I tightened it down, I was actually pressing it up against the rear large gear extruder. This is basically an LGX in a different body, and it was causing binding. So I got the correct motor. I have everything mounted now. So we should be good to flip the switch and turn this on. And if everything works and comes up, we should be able to home and do everything on this printer. And by the way, this printer, which is normally named some type of Dragon, is not. This is called Cyberchonk. It was referred to as Cyberchonk because it was a white frame, and you can probably see the remainder back here. White frame, pop blue, and pop pink ASA. We kind of messed with the aesthetic by going to the CNC up here, but it's still Cyberchonk. Now, I only have one light working right now. I don't have the other side working because the Manta M5P board that we had in here originally had dual RGB capability. This one only has one. If I plug one in, it works. As soon as I plug the second one in, it doesn't have enough power. So what I'm going to have to do is drive it from one end and then bring power from the opposite end to basically provide power to both light bars to get them to work. That's something I can do. It's just, it doesn't keep me from making the machine work at the moment. So, Diesel. I'm sorry, Von Deathheart. I'm sorry, my dude. I see that and I just think Evil Diesel right off the bat when it's the color. It got me. Sorry about that. Yeah, still need to do Marlin for that printer, but putting it off until I finish moving it. Yeah, that's a good thing. Had some googly eyes, 3D print its own case. Well, I've got all the panels. Like this printer's been up and running for like a year. It's just we did a series of upgrades to it. So this would have a YouTube series out there called Cyberchunk, or I think it was Cyberchunk, or maybe just Trident 350. So that's the thing, Petty. This one has an input and an output, and so I can run it in and then out over to one, but I need to solder on a connector on the other side and just run 5-volt and ground to it. It just needs additional 5 volts to it. There's 64 lights, and running 5-volt across 2 sticks, one 5-volt, it doesn't have enough amperage to do it. So I just need to run an extra power. So that's what I did with the lights that I had along the back, is I had power going to one side, and then I was injecting power midstream in as well. And the only reason they're not working right now is that power supply died, and I haven't taken the time to climb underneath the bench and get the power supply swapped out. So yeah, there should be lights behind me, behind the printers there. So yeah, like I said, everything should be moving. We're doing sensorless homing on the right, and then a physical end stop on the Y. And the reason it pops back over 50 millimeters after it does that is because if it stays over on the right and goes back to hit the end stop, the toolhead board drives into the rear motor. So, which is probably not good for the motor. And I think I had this set up for PLA. I'll grab some PLA and we'll throw a PLA spool on here. And yes, by the way, there is a merch link there. I will be showing off some new merch at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest. We do have light and dark mode coffee cups. We have light and dark mode water bottles. We have some shirt designs out there. There's a couple of other things that'll be out there that I kind of really did for myself, but if people are interested, they'll be available. Hey, Turtle Crawler, how's it going? Sensorless homing likes fast. I home slow because it works, it's less fiddly. And yeah, I just set everything back up, and I did have whatchamacallit, I did have physical end stop switches. So while sensorless homing might work fast, doing sensorless homing on what's essentially a new build or a newly modified build and running it fast is not a good thing, especially if you're trying to get your sensitivity set right, or at least it hasn't been for me. I prefer not to slam my gantry or tool heads into the plate if I don't have to. All right, we'll home again. I'll drop it down and heat up the nozzle and push some filament in there. "100 millimeters per second is the sweet spot." I will work on that. I will tell you this, I believe this is the same sensorless homing speed because it drops the motor currents and stuff as well. And I believe that's the one from Siboor or Voron, slightly tweaked. So I'm going to heat the tool head up and get this filament loaded. Then I believe, yes, I do have a just a 2-layer 100 by 120 by 120 square set up just to dial in the first layer. Yeah, there's going to be some more Warhammer stuff going on. I've got a bolter over there that I finally started assembling. I've got a storm bolter I need to assemble. I've got a chain sword that I need to finish, but that's to the point where I need to start spray painting it. So I have to take the chain back off, spray paint the chain, and then get the chain back on, then basically assemble it and start painting it. So hopefully I'm going to get that stuff done relatively soon here. Machine. Oh, look, there's upgrade or updates. That's nice. Dashboard. That's what I want. Load filament. Yes. Yeah, if you've got a good homing sequence, turtle crawler, just let me know. Also, no, what'd I do with it? What? Oh, I think it's downstairs. I got all my send parts in. Apparently, I didn't bother to tell them to deburr things, so I've got to do a little bit of deburring on it. But once I do that, should be good to go. There we go. So I've got I think what I'm going to do is build the frame, and then I'll basically bring the Inter 5 Plus 0G up here, and we'll basically just start taking stuff off and moving it over. It's basically just take the gantry apart, take the rails over, and start doing it that way. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Okay, it looks like it's done. It's going to ooze a little bit, but by the way, this is a 1mm nozzle on here. So yeah, it's kind of a bit chunky. Bring that down to 150. Bring this up, sure, 65. Get those things started. So I believe that is I think it was a West3D nozzle I put on there. So it'd be a West3D 1.0 Undertaker nozzle. K3 is running the Kraken with 2804s and likes to home 2.8 amps. Merc is on 2504s and Watercott 5160s. Likes to home at 0.8 amps. Oh, nice. So your 0G is still just the 2 motors, right? You don't have an all-wheel drive setup going yet? I'm going to basically start a print, and I'm still needing to dial the first layer in. Once we get that done, then we'll be able to go in and work some other stuff. Uh-oh. Oh, it's changed. Like, what is going on? Just doing a filament change. Hey, thanks for the follow, LTX Designs, and welcome on in. Okay, yeah, so the Merc downstairs, I believe, is still running a Manta M8P. I may change that because I've got a pair of Kraken motors en route. They should be here this week. But I am not, let me rephrase this. I am not going to start the 0G rebuild unless and until everything that I'm planning on taking to Murph is set and ready to go. I cannot start yet another project right now. Excuse me. Hey, Timor, how's it going? Yes, today is Monday. I came to the realization today of, holy crap, I've got 2.5 weeks before I get in a car and head to Murph, or Remurph. And in that time, I have to finish printing all the parts and verify that I have all of the parts printed for a box turtle build, because I'm building a box turtle at Remurph. LDO Motors is shipping. LDO Motors is bringing me a space gray frame, and they had Fabrico ship me Sparkle Turtle Green and Turtle Gold LDO ABS filament. So I am getting all the parts printed to take with me to the show so that I can build one at my booth during the show. So yeah, we're going to have another box turtle build going on. I know everybody is shocked by that, that I'm going to be building another box turtle. We've alluded to the fact that I am working a lot with Ecovate 3D, where I am getting the Optimus P1. It is up, it is functionally printing. We need to do some work on it. And by work on it, I mean, when you move to the gantry to the right, it sounds great. When you start moving it to the left, it sounds like it's either missing balls or it's bone dry. My fear is it is bone dry and it has not been properly and well maintained, and I may have to be taking apart that gantry and replacing a high wind, I think it's an MGN 16 carriage. Hopefully not the rail and carriage. I need to take it off anyhow. We're going to do some things, and I'm seriously looking as to whether or not we have I been watching DeWitt 3D's box turtle build? I have not. I have not yet. But give me a second here, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to do some adjustments. So the Optimus P1, I want to redo the tool head. And when I redo the tool head, I want to do it with a Chube, because why not? It's running basically a Volcano hot end on it. Very slow, very crappy. So I want to put a Chube in it. Or, ooh, that would be cool to put that's a 600 by 600 by 1000. That might be worth putting the Staccato HE40 with a Super Volcano 1.0 nozzle and dual 100 watt heaters in. That might be a thought process too. And we're thinking about completely swapping out and updating the tool head. and trying to make, we're going to rebrain it and make it clipper because it's marlin and we can't fix the marlin, and it's a old marlin at that. Okay. 1.0 nozzle, definitely too squished. Start working your way up, please. This is a new one for me. I mean, I've tried some 0.8 nozzles in the past, but this is a 1.0 millimeter nozzle on a tube with a 100 watt heater. Let me see where we're at. Like I said, I haven't been watching DeWitt's, but he's been having trouble with jams in the tool head. And watching and learning about everything that can go wrong with box turtle. We can definitely talk about that at RMRRF. Like I said, I built, I think, 7 of them. Zombie has one of my builds. I'm getting ready to take my LDO 2.4 Rev C turn Rev D with the box turtle to Ecovate. He's having a miserable time with it. Oh, yeah, we've got to. Here, let me bring you guys or you folks in. Actually, I keep trying to move that. Let me zoom you all in. Well, I can do that now. This is so chunky. So just for giggles, I am doing a first layer test here with a 1.0 nozzle, and we are currently flow rate of 14.3, 14-ish millimeter cube per second. Bring you in here so we can get you closer. Layers going down on a 1.0 nozzle. Yes, this is a 1 millimeter nozzle on a tube. Hey, if you guys want to send me, I'll definitely go up and help. Yeah, that's kind of going down pretty nicely. A few little gaps here or there. I was definitely still way too squished at the beginning. And I think I've got the squish factor worked out now. I'll say, look at the gears up here just churning away. And let's see how the spool's doing. The spool is on roller bearings here. Not moving, well, it's jerking. Not a constant movement yet. But we are still going kind of slow. When we go to do a like a flow test later on, I'm sure that spool back there is just going to be rolling. Turbo crawler should also go. Yeah, he can also go. I think he's built one or two. Yeah, Chube, I mean, I've got the plates and stuff to put a Chube on my Annex Engineering K3, right? What's his name? Poity dropped off a set of gantry plates to me at Murph last year because he's an enabler, which caused me to go and buy a second Chube. And now I've got a couple of more that are on the way. So you all are enablers. Just letting you know. But yeah, I may still throw one over there, but one's definitely going in the 0G just because it's a big printer. It deserves a hot end that can push. I'm enabling you? Yeah. Well, I can enable you. Like I said, my wife wants me to rehome some of my printers. Not that I want to, but she wants me to. All right, the other thing I will say is this is running at 220 on PLA. When we go to do a flow test, I will probably run this upwards of 230, 240, just to see how much flow we could actually get out of a 1.0 nozzle and a Chube with a 100-watt heater. But I'm going to do the normal. I'm going to let this finish this first layer and then start into the second layer, which should speed up. And after it gets a little bit on the corner, I'll go ahead and stop it because I've got my first layer dialed in, I think. And I'll go ahead and stop the print so that we're not sitting here while it goes through its thing. And then we'll try and slice something else up that we can run. Like, ooh, I know what we can do. Oh, that's not well. I want things. Small. We don't want a small one. Oh, there we go. Nope, not the one I want. What? Hey, turtle crawler. Where's the Turbo Snail at? I know I printed one before. I just don't know where the file is from. And I don't know which of the computers around here I have that file on. Annex GitHub? Okay. Let's try that. And there's the fans. yeah, it can definitely take off. That's what are they? Dual 3628 fans kicked in. Like I said, I'm going to save that offset. This is beginning, this is the end. We're not ripping that single layer part. Like here's this is the only part where we got a second layer. I'm not able to rip any of this apart, so that's good layer lines. We got a little bit of some gap, or I don't even want to say gaps. I think that was just some extrusion issues in there, and that could just mean we got to raise the temp. Like I said, we're trying to push at a 1.0 nozzle, so we can probably push the temps up even higher to help that out. But yeah, we've got that first layer down pretty darn good now. I'll be happy with that. You think it's on the Annex GitHub? Where would it be on the Annex GitHub? Miscellaneous designs that don't have a home? Turbo Snail. We found the Turbo Snail. Okay, so Orca selector. Oh no, I don't have it configured over here. All right, well, we're gonna have to fix some things real fast. Ferrets are the best. Thief was named appropriately. Oh, yeah, you want little thieves, get some ferrets. That's awesome. Your macaw stole your stuff, eh? Okay, let me see. I think I made the change over here. Yes, I did. Cyberchunk 1.0 nozzle. Just need to make some changes here, so bear with me. Yeah, we're not going to use that. Oh, look, that's the only one we have. Okay, so we'll fix that. 50 clipper, blah, blah, blah. I think that's all the same. Yeah, that's got to change. Print start, bed temp, extruder temp. Yep, good. NG code, we don't need this MMU stuff because you. Before layer change is good. After layer change is good. That. That's good. Multi-materials. Nope. Nozzle diameter, 1.0. Wait, 2.5 max. 0.8. These are the layer heights. Ish. And this is a 1.0. Definitely not an ERCF. That's changed. Why am I missing? Not what I want. Why is it? Why can't I get rid of this? Filaments to use. Okay. Something is wonky here, so I just have to restart. Might be on an older version. I thought I saw an update to, oh no, not Orca, it was, yeah, it is a newer version. Oh, sorry guys. You were Willed the Bird in 1955. Didn't realize your uncle hated me so. Welcome on in, Nick. Hope you're doing well. We're trying to set some stuff up here. What we're going to do is get the Turbo Snail set up. Or They can live to be close to 100 years old. Yep. Hey, Pete, how's it going? Welcome in, my friend. So, the Trident with a tube is up and running. We printed off a first layer to test out. So we got some thick layer lines going here. This is a 1.0 nozzle. And what I'm trying to do is get Orca Slicer up and running and configured, because apparently I configured it on my laptop, not on this printer. So I need to get things set up. And why in the heck is it not letting me? I wonder. Of course. Let me do that. Now let me come in here. Yep. Save your hose. Delete all the extras. Now come in and tell it that it is not a multi-material. Because we do not have a cutter, we are not doing a box turtle on this. What we're going to do now is generic PLA. Well, I mean, it's not generic PLA. Sure, generic PLA it is. Wow. We're going to have to change some process data here. Layer height. Let's go with do a 0.4 layer height, actually. Line width. We're going to make this all 1.0 because we can. I'm sorry, let me make that 1.0. So that's full nozzle width, right? Because we have a 1.0 nozzle on here. Three wall loops, 3 top, 3 bottom. 15% should be fine. We're going to go cubic because yeah, it should always be cubic. I'm sure it can go faster than that, but the question is can we get enough flow? Casper feral cats and invaded the space. Uh-oh. I don't think we need any supports on this. Downloads. Why is that there? Go away. Three and a half hours. We can give that a shot. I want to save this process. We made this what? 0.4. 1.0. We'll call it test. Has floating regions. I don't remember having to do, I don't remember needing to do supports on this. We'll run it without, what the hell. Non-integer index is not allowed to address a vector. I have no idea what that was. I do want to see. That should be right. Your wife would kill me, probably literally, if I showed up with a grumpy macaw. Probably, yeah. I think that would do it with my wife as well. All right, Timor. Cutting lab tabletops for new printer stand. Ooh, nice. First layer. What is that about? Annex Snail, PLA. There we go. Can we upload and print? If everything goes right, we're going to start printing. Oh, and I didn't even think about it. We should probably. I did not even think about that. Did we just nerf ourselves? Nozzle type undefined. Okay. Not there, but it was probably here that I nerfed myself, huh? Because this is where we've got max volumetric speed, 12 millimeters a second. Ugh. Let's make it work. I may have to try that again. So cancel this. Otherwise, it'll never try and hit speed. And I want to try and see it hit speed to see if we're going to have any type of failure. Nope, my lurk is, dang it, I spilled my coffee. That's my lurk message. That's the lurk message. Enjoy your supper, Pezliz. No, and I don't. No, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait for it because that's the one downside to Clipper is it waits for the command to finish, and the command said heat things up. So until it heats up, it's not going to finish that command. So and I want to, whoops, not that, didn't the thing. I want to upload this version. Wow. Okay. Were we speed nerfed? Yes. because it was going to go 3 hours for one at 12 millimeters or 12 millimeters cube flow rate, telling it can go up to 60, which probably it can't. Let's be honest with us. It dropped it down to under 2 hours to do this print. Means it's probably going to be going stupid crazy fast, and we're going to definitely overrun the hot end. But what the hell? We've got a 100-watt heater. We'll see. You just got your first cup of coffee for the day. Oofda. Yeah, this is my second here. So what I want to do is keep an eye on the flow rate over here and see what the flow rate hits. We'll switch the, I'm going to say browser window. Change the app I am looking at. Still didn't come up. Why would it have? We switch things around and we got our browser window down there. I'm going to try and keep an eye on that flow rate to see how it goes. But yeah, I've got 2 printers running ABS. Ooh, that one finished. Awesome. Even better, it's a viable tread. Now I'm going to do the smart thing and not start the next print, because if I do, then I'll have multiple things heating up at the same time, and a good chance that it goes poof and we lose the stream because I popped the circuit breaker. But got a good tread. Probably been sitting out for a little bit, but it's good. Normally you'll get a lot of globbiness over on these parts, and the holes won't be all the way through. This one won't be because there's a capped end on it to hold it, but yeah. So I need one more of these treads, which I'll start after this is going. And that'll get me the last tread that I need for Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer. Then I can get the tracks put on tonight. I need to still slice up her driver and start getting that body done. Bed mesh complete. I mean, 0.074 deviation across that portion of the bed that it's working on. Where to put the... Yeah, don't do it, Luke. Like, I want to get in there and get that blob, but I know as soon as I do, it's going to start and it'll make a quick move and probably jam a tweezer into the beacon probe, and a $90 beacon probe is not something I want to damage. There we go. That is still. Feels like it was way too low, and I think the retract may be, yeah, retract's off a little bit. I mean, the heater seems to be keeping up with it right now. Wonder if I can raise you all up and then tilt you down a bit, get you a little bit better view. So the Turbo Snail does have writing on the bottom, just like a Benchy does. That's what it's trying to do, is outline the words. Waiting on a print, dude. That has been my life. I've been managing printers, and I need to get a couple going downstairs, just because they'll be on a different circuit. Hey, Catch Skyfire, yes, Chube, not just a tube, but a tube with a 100-watt heater, a PT1000 thermistor, and a 1.0 nozzle, printing at a 0.4 millimeter layer height. The Turbo Snail isn't necessarily a test print. It is, it's we'll say the unofficial, official, unofficial mascot for Annex Engineering. I've got one around here somewhere. I thought it was up here. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So this is what it's, these are the two guys that designed it, and it's the Annex Turbo Snails. This is what we're printing. This was done in 0.4 millimeter layer height on a, or 0.2 millimeter layer height on the Annex Engineering K3. So this right here is what we're printing. We're just doing it with a 0.4 layer height and a 1 millimeter nozzle. And I'm going to step back a little bit as this starts to ramp up. And this is hitting close to 60 millimeter cube per second. And I will say it's going to try and hit that. I'm actually going to increase the temp some, because once those fans kicked on, it actually did drop the temp some. We'll see if this recovers. It does have a piece that may cause it to skip or stop. Yeah, Turbo Snail, Ryan Reynolds not included, exactly. But yeah, we've got lanes being printed for our next box turtle build, which will happen at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Festival. This is a different kind of turtle. This is Sparkle Turtle Green and Turtle Gold by LDO. This is ABS filament. And these are being printed for a box turtle build that I'm going to be doing at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Festival. So I've got a couple more. I've got one lane printing now, then I have one more lane after that. And then I'll have to reprint 4 corner pieces. That is kind of sick. Probably going to be a little bit rough, but we'll see how it goes. The problem is when you start getting larger or taller layer lines or layers, you kind of lose some of the detail. So we'll see. This is fairly organic. We'll see if it comes out really good with nice sharp edges still or not. But I am just trying to push it to see if the extruder and the hot end can keep up. Like there's a spot where I'm seeing a spike to 70 millimeters cubed. Now it's starting to do some infill. Now, mind you, this is standard PLA. This is not like a high flow PLA. Yep, Pet Geo worked just fine. Pet Geo worked just fine. Yeah, I don't see it chunking up on the filament yet either. I mean, it is still laying down filament. Which is pretty intense. Yeah, it's doing its first, we'll say that skim layer. So this is a Chube Air. I've got a second one that the thought was to put it on the Annex Engineering, though I'm thinking it may go on the 350. Hey, Brecor, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not ready either. I'm kind of stepping back as I'm talking, because if I get up close, as I'm talking, you're hearing these 3628 fans go crazy. Yeah, it's doing the first layer above the letters. So, Justin, since you just got here, we're doing a Annex Engineering Turbo Snail. This is my, let me pull back some. This is the Trident 350 that I built sometime last year from a bunch of DFH kits. It is now modified with a Siboor all-wheel drive CNC metal gantry, running a Takeoff tool head with a Chube air with a 1.0 Undertaker nozzle. So that is a 1mm Undertaker nozzle, 100-watt heater, PT1000 thermistor, and an FXD extruder. And I basically, when I sliced it, I told it it could do, I think, 50 or 60 flow rate on PLA. I'm going to have to bring one printer, but it depends on if I have to bring another body with us. Because I may have somebody from Ecovate with me. We'll see. I may. But we're going to be bringing 2 dragsters, 3 death racers. The parts, because Justin, just so you're aware, Armored Turtle is going to be building a box turtle at their booth. I am going to be building a box turtle at my booth. I talked with Jason with LDO, and I said, you provide the box turtle kit and the filament. I'll build it at my booth and bring it back over to your booth for a giveaway. So we've got a Sparkle Turtle Green and Turtle Gold box turtle being printed right now. It will be on a space gray frame. And yeah, I'm going to build that at my table at the show. So I will have to have a printer that is capable of printing ABS parts in case something breaks or whatever, and I have to replace it. Oh yeah. So, and I am most likely running this way too hard. I'm hitting 58 millimeters cubed per second flow rate, 0.4 layer height, I think 0.8 walls, or no, 1.0 walls, 0.4 layer height, and I'm running it at like 235. I may have skipped or layer shifted. Either that or it's just a very rough because of the layer heights. All right, for grins, I am going to slow this down. I don't want to do what Modbot did, which was the FXD extruder pushes very hard. Like Modbot packed the top of his tube when it stopped printing. He got a clog because he pushed too hard, and the FXD literally packed the top end of the tube with filament. So I'm going to drop it down a little bit speed-wise. I dropped it to 75%. I still have it at 235C. Have you thought of building a blue turtle version of the box turtle? That one's blue. I have I believe it's a white and blue box turtle downstairs that was made from LDO ABS. So I've got a couple. Kind of feels like it might have layer shift. Like I said, I was kind of pushing it. Yeah, slice wise, we're at 0.4 layer height. So 0.4 layer height and 1.0 wall width, 3 walls. And I will tell you, I haven't input shape or pressure advanced this either. So I still need to do that stuff as well. This is really like, I tried to do this once, and this is the second attempt to push filament. So this is really the first real print attempt to push filament on this printer. I did not know that there was a mod to the box turtle called Blue Turtle. I'll have to look at that reprinted. I do want to build one of these. I probably have all the parts to do it too. And yes, Brecor, I have a Murph shirt for me, Mrs. Dragon, and Evil Diesel. Or excuse me, Remurph shirt. A Remurph 2025 shirt. So once again, this has been converted to a Siboor all-wheel drive CNC gantry, 9mm belts, and Takeoff tool head with a tube. It has layer shifted a little bit. Like I said, I have not input shaped this or anything like that. I am seeing a belt that is probably not tension high enough. That would be dragging and flapping against the rear deck panel, or the rear panel. Yeah, I got to work on tightening some belts. The good news is it's pushing plastic and sucking it down at an alarming rate. Hey Tugboat, how's it going? Oh, you've got a D-cut rail, Petty. Just take the IRCFA apart and find the right length that's not bent all to hell and cut it. You want to build one of those box turtle thingies April Fool's prank? Hey Zombie, how's it going? Yeah, we're layer shifting. like I said, I have not tuned this printer whatsoever. I haven't tuned the filament. We did a layer test, and right now we're printing at a 0.4 layer height and 1 millimeter wall distance with a 1 millimeter nozzle on a Chube hot end. We're printing PLA at 235. Yeah, I want to print one of these. This might be another project, but I'm not starting any other projects until after remerge. And do the fans work at lower speed? Maybe. They do. They're still just loud. I did drop the speed down to 75% because we layer shifted. And yeah. We'll just say the layers are a little more consistent now that I slowed it down. I know that's not the nice way to do it, but mid-print, it's the only way to do it. But I still need to really work on tensioning my belts properly, doing input shaper, pressure advance, and all of that stuff. This is literally just basically breaking in the belts. And after this, I'm going to have to, double check my pulleys and make sure that they're at the right height so they're not rubbing anywhere. Like this pulley might be rubbing an edge. This one's good. That pulley might be rubbing an edge on the belt. So I'll need to adjust the height of that pulley. Oh, and your takeoff? I mean, it works better. It's not at, whoa, not 1,050. Whoa, damn it. What just happened? Stop that. Fan speed. Where's my fan speed at? Spot. All right, it still keeps kicking it up. And apparently I hit something and machine that got out of place too. Thanks, Zombie. And Zombie, if you've got a 1 millimeter print profile for a 1 millimeter nozzle, I'd love to see it. Because like I said, there is zero tuning on this print profile. I just sent it. Figured why not? Hey Jedi Spidey, how's it going? Welcome in. We are printing what's going to turn out to be a very rough version of the Turbo Snail. Why very rough? Well, this is the first time actually pushing this much filament through this tube nozzle. We're running it at 235 degrees C. Because our layer height is 0.4 millimeters, and the layer width is, or the wall width is the full 1 millimeter size of the nozzle. And yeah, we're spiking upwards of, well, we're staying under 50 millimeters cubed per second flow rate. And I dropped the speed down because when I had it at 100%, it would spike up to 70 millimeters cubed per second. And I think that's just asking a bit too much of the nozzle and the extruder on PLA. If we were running something higher, or like ABS and able to run it really hot, we still might be able to do that. But yeah, like I said, I zero tuning on this. I've noticed that this pulley, we might be riding the edge of the belt, so I need to pull that pulley up just a little bit, like half a millimeter to a millimeter. The other ones appear to be good from what I'm seeing. I have this belt, which is the upper belt, seems like it's a little loose and flapping a bit in the back. I haven't done any input shaping yet. So I need to do input shaping, definitely flow rate, but input shaping, pressure advance, flow, the whole 9 yards, and start working on getting a profile here. But really, this would be better if I upsize it. The layer lines and stuff would be a little bit better than what it's going to look like doing the standard size. Your back so you can rest your back. Oh, those tabletops are 100 plus pounds. Oof. Oh, trust me, Timor. So Sunday I'm going in to have ultrasound of this elbow because I'm having a lot of issues with this elbow here. And I sold my deer blind and the stand that goes with it, so we help move or help get that up on a trailer for the people that bought it Saturday morning. Then we went to Echovate and I was doing a bunch of stuff at Echovate and just doing some other moving, and my arm's freaking killing me today, but I'm trying to rest it and relax some. But we'll get an ultrasound and try and figure out what's going on with the arm. But yeah, I wanted to get this up here and push some plastic through it and verify that we're good. We're pushing plastic. We're pushing plastic on the baby belt. I will probably make another belt that might be a little bit shorter so I can get it properly tensioned. I also got some longer bolts. And I don't know, I think I have everything I need on hand to build a second baby belt. So I might do that, but I'm not going to do it before Rocky Mountain. There's just too much going on. And quite honestly, between Rocky Mountain and Murph this year, it's going to be tight, right? Like, I am not printing any maker chips between now and Rocky Mountain. I've just got too many other projects that are supposed to be at Rocky Mountain that we need to get done. We've got to finish Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer, which is going to involve us painting at least the top part. Like so Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer is going to be a dragonfly, right? So this is the front of Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer. And as you see, it's in gray, where I'm going to have to prime it, possibly sand it, maybe just filler primer, and paint the eyes and the face and everything, because the eyes should be pretty much a black with a bunch of dots in it, but this has like color shading that you just can't really do with painting filament, right? I do have a brace. I was wearing it on Saturday. I was not wearing it today, but I still need to basically print her driver. I think Evil Diesel sent me the head for her driver, so I need to print the driver, print the head, see if I'm going to paint the head or just do it yeah, I'll probably wind up having to paint the head somewhat. We have to build the back end, or he's got to finish the back end, send it to me so I can print it, and then most likely paint that as well. And then get that all assembled. I think Evil Diesel has everything printed but the treads for the KB3D Death Racer, and I need to print those treads, which is why I'm printing a 3030 spool holder for the rat rig, because we want to do a multicolor TPU tread design. So I need to see if I can get those printed, and if I can, then that's going to be going over on the rat rig for the next while. I got to reprint all the parts for the drag racer and start building that as the prints are being done. So yeah, it's going to be pretty busy between now and Rocky Mountain. I've almost got all the LDO box turtle parts done. I think I need to print diffusers for it, and diffusers and finish the lanes. So I got one more lane and then the diffusers, and that'll be all printed. So yeah, it's just trying to keep my head on straight, and I'm sure Justin, who's running RMRRF, is just about as scatterbrained because he's still got a day job going on. I keep telling Echovate, you know, make me an offer to poach me. She says she can't touch what Cisco's paying me, and I told her it didn't have to touch what Cisco pays me. Oh. I mean, push comes to shove, I have a dragster body or a frame. I want to reprint it, but I have one if push comes to shove and I need it. And then I just have to do the body panels. You know how it goes. You always want to do something different, which always means that you're trying to get, you're basically trying to redo things from scratch at the last minute. All right, come on. Which one are you? That's the right one. I think I just skipped that one. Sorry, I'm over here talking to myself. Yeah, oh, that's what I figured, Justin, is that you're pretty much like losing your mind right now. Like, I'm seriously debating, do I take an extra day off at work between now and the show just to make sure I have another full day that I can work on project stuff? I mean, it's my own fault because I knew I was doing the dragster and death racer. Evil Diesel's been working on the drag racer, or excuse me, the drag, or the Evil Diesel's been working on the death racer, and I've been working on the dragster, or I should say been procrastinating on the dragster, thinking, I don't have that much to do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. take more time off, show up on Thursday for the pre-event dinner. So we're driving. So we're actually taking off Wednesday. The plan is to drive, 2 days and get there in time for load in on Friday. Stress relief equals retirement. No, it doesn't. You just think it does. Because technically I'm already retired once from the military. Yeah, I'm just kind of to the point where if I could get recovery of a decent amount of my salary, then I'm in a position where I can do well. Especially if I could support Excavate and she still lets me do the things that I'm doing, that would be even better. But like right now, they're authorized service providers for Bamboo and Prusa. So they're doing, they do a lot of repair work on, I'll say, the standard consumer commercial printer space, right? So they've got a couple of CR30s in there right now. They've got some Anycubics they're working on, that type of stuff. But they also do authorized service for Bamboo Lab and Prusa. They're resellers for Bamboo Lab and Prusa. I get the more esoteric stuff, like the Optimus P1, the 600 by 600 by 1000 printer that was donated to the shop. The Raise 3D that was donated to the shop. No. Prusa, so Printed Solid is owned by Prusa. From my understanding, Excavate is now an authorized reseller and maintenance for Prusas. And I know this because they ordered my Prusa Core 1 kit for me. Yeah, I'm gonna need to tune pressure advance and stuff. Yes. Yes. In fact, I believe they sent a couple of folks up to Printed Solid for Prusa training. And hence why I may have mentioned that several of my printers may be going down there because they don't have any floor models for Prusa yet. So my Mark IV with MMU3 and the Prusa Mini may go down there as floor models for their Prusa display. Just like my 2.4 and my Box Turtle that were LDO kits may be going down there for an LDO display. And a bunch of my other printers like the Annex Engineering K3, the LH Stinger, the Baby Belt Pro, the Ender 3 NG, they may be going down to Excavate on a rotating basis because, well, Fabrico is sponsoring a space there, and this may be used as backdrops in said space. All right, Von Deathheart, have a good night. Take it easy. Yeah, Timor, I get that. Like, to me, retirement does not mean that I stop working. It means I stop chasing a paycheck and start doing the things that I now enjoy. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the cybersecurity work. I don't enjoy we choose stress for the sheer fact that we want stress work, which is what it seems to be more often than not. They create stress, they create deadlines just to satisfy somebody's whim. So folks, I'm going to be right back. I'm actually going to go downstairs and get that brace for my elbow. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I tried the whole TPU, full TPU tire. I did get a layer shift there, so this one's not technically usable, but I did a modifier in the centerpiece. So this is 1 millimeter basically sidewalls, 2 millimeter tread area, 10% infill, and then this is like 60 or 70% infill because this is where the hubs are going to go and lock in. But it gives you a pretty good compliance there, which should give you some better traction. Sidewalls are fairly stiff still. But I don't know if I'm going to 3D print them like this or if I'm going to do like I did on mine and do a, a standard plastic inner and then do a TPU sleeve basically or tread. Oh, cool, Justin. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try and get a booth kind of over in the KB3D area again. So where I was, I'll say closer to the entrance for us folks last year, which is where I think the Voron and West3D folks and KB3D were in that corner. KB3D is now on the opposite side. I'm going to be, I guess, on that side of the Bot Rumble folks. The Bot Rumble, whoever the combat robot people are. Good luck on that. Well, hopefully I should be able to get a table easier because I'll be on site. I don't intend on having an engine blow up on the way up there this year. Like I said, we're planning on taking a couple of days to drive out so we don't kill each other trying to do it. And we're going to be in town on Friday. If we come in Thursday, when did I set? Hold on a second. I think we don't have a hotel Thursday night. I think we set it for Friday. Yeah, our hotel reservation. Yeah, hotel reservation is for Friday. We're actually out in Longmont. All right, yeah, I can't guarantee that we are. We're going to take off Wednesday. And we'll see if Mrs. Dragon takes off earlier, then me and Evil Diesel may push off all the way through. We'll see. The problem is me at altitude. I press my luck at altitude, right? So, you know, being there Friday and leaving Monday is probably a better thing for me to be up at that higher altitude. But yeah, it's I mean, it is what it is. We'll get it figured out. If we can be there, we'll be there. If not, then there's definitely going to be plenty of after parties and stuff going on. Do you know what food trucks you have lined up for this year? Hey, Eagle, I believe she's inside now. It's dark outside. When I went downstairs to get my elbow brace, I noticed it was dark outside, so she should be inside now. She was outside working on the yard. Let me pull you guys in a little bit closer here real fast, just to see these layered lines going down. I mean, these suckers are pretty darn chunky. Like I said, this is 1 millimeter line width, 0.4 millimeter height. You can see the gaps there. Those gaps in the corner are pressure advanced settings. So I do need to fix those. It is looking a little rough, but once again, this no tuning whatsoever. We just kind of picked some numbers for this print. So the fact that we're doing this good so far, I think is kind of amazing. Good food trucks and a coffee truck. Saturday and Sunday morning, good. Good. Gonna need all the coffee I can get. Gonna need all the coffee I can get. Oh yeah, Chewy, this is definitely a W. It's printing and I'm hitting mid 40s. Even right now, I'm hitting mid 40 millimeters cubed per second. And I already dropped it down to 75%. Doing it at the higher speed, I mean, I was hitting over 60 millimeters cubed per second. And I decided not to push my luck too much because I know Modbot is running this same setup basically. I just don't think he's running a 1.0 nozzle. And he clogged his nozzle, and before he realized it, the FXD had actually pushed, like basically packed the top end of his tube. He had to take his tube completely apart. Oh, hey, Justin, before you go, I do want to show you guys this. Let me bring you, around here. Look at that extruder going. Like that thing is like a treadmill. It is just going and going and going and going. This thing, like we've done a number on that spool already. So I'm gonna play with this and get it tuned in, but I can't. Like I said, I've got to get projects done. I've committed to things, and I need to get the committed things done. Like Mrs. Dragon has said, if her Death Racer isn't done by the time for the show, it'll be okay. And that just kind of cripples my heart because we've committed to so much stuff. We had plenty of time, but it's like you keep looking at it as we got time, we got time, we got time. And now I've hit con crunch and I'm starting to freak out already. Yeah, I've got a 100-watt heater in here and I'm melting, this is PLA, this is standard, I'm sorry, this isn't even Polymaker. This is Elegoo gray PLA and we're printing it at 235. Yeah, this is not designated as a high flow. And we're running it at 235 just because I'm running it so fast. So I think I do have some, let me double check. I think I have some Polymaker high flow down here. Yeah, I've got some Polysonic PLA Pro in purple and orange that I can try running as a quote unquote high-speed filament. So we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, I'm just happy we're getting this good. Like I said, I've really got to tune for, you know, flow rate and stuff like that. Input shaping hasn't been done on this. So we got a little bit more work to do. And I'll probably at least put the back and side panels on before I do input shaping, just to add a little bit more rigidity to the overall structure. And I'll leave the top and the doors off because if I'm going to run some PLA, I'm going to need some type of open air in here so we can get this thing running. Would it be cool if you can run TPU this fast? Yeah, I'm kind of impressed with this so far. No, I don't think 95 high flow would run this fast. Now maybe TPU for AMS. I mean, that's like a little bit softer PLA. But yeah, the letters are coming out a little more rounded off and stuff. They're legible. They are legible. But yeah, I'm going to let this continue to run. Like I said, I'll let this finish, take a picture of it, you know, as the quote unquote first print off of the newly completed Trident 350. Hey, Creatix Brit, how's it going, nerd? What a cute little squirrel bum you got there. So the Trident 350 is back up and running. This is running the Siboor all-metal CNC all-wheel drive setup for the gantry with 9mm belts. We've got the Takeoff hot end, and I'm stepping back because the fans are so loud. But this is the Takeoff hot end. This is SLM printed tool head. So it's printed metal. We're running 3628 cooling fans, front and back at 12 volts. A Chube air hot end with a 100-watt heater, a PT1000 thermistor, and a West3D Undertaker 1mm nozzle. So this print is currently printing at a 0.4mm layer height and 1mm wall thickness. And it's a little rough, but we're putting down plastic. Right now, I've dropped the speed back down to 75% because I did get a slight layer shift, and I felt like we might have been outrunning the hot end setup. I haven't done any tuning. This is first time pushing real plastic for anything other than a first layer test. We're hitting 44 millimeters per cubed, or 44 millimeters cubed per second at various points on this print right now. So we're pushing a good deal of material. We've got an FXD extruder on here running the advanced 3D printing motor that's designed for the FXD. That finally came in, and I mounted that Thursday afternoon. And like I said, this is zero tuning. I'm noticing that the right front pulley needs to be raised ever so slightly because the top edge of the belt is running against the pulley edge. And the top belt needs to be a little smidge tighter. Got a little bit more flat than the lower belt does. I need to do input shaping and pressure advance and flow rate and all the other tuning stuff that you would do. But we're printing a turbo squirrel is what we're printing out right now. Von Deathheart, I thought you were, I thought you had left. Look at that. I boot my laptop up and I'm brought to the stream. That's cool. Gonna try and start the Marlin profile? There you go. Like I said, it's just been a hot minute since I've done Marlin, and yeah. I can possibly help you out some there, but like I said, it's just gonna take a hot minute. If you want, when you get your Marlin profile done, send me your, what is it, config.h file? Or not config.h, what is it? Configuration.h file before you compile it, and I'll take a look over it. But I'm thinking I'm going to raid out, and I'm going to let this finish. I've got multiple prints going right now. So Britt, you just came in. I know this is going to sound really, really weird, Britt, but I'm going to build another box turtle. And I'm going to build it at Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival. I talked with Jason at LDO, and he is going to bring me a box turtle kit. He's sponsoring the build, so he's going to bring me a box turtle kit, and he asked if I had filament on hand. I told him no, so we pinged Hector, and he overnighted me some filament. So it's going to be a space gray frame with the sparkled turtle green and turtle gold ABS. A masochist, yeah. So I'm going to build this at my table at Rocky Mountain and then take it back over for LDO to do a giveaway with. I'm also trying to finish up a death racer for Mrs. Dragon, a drag racer for KB3D. Evil Diesel is trying to finish up the death racer for KB3D, in which case I need to do the TPU treads, because we're going to try and do a multicolor tread pattern, and not just one tread one color, one tread the other color, but a true multicolor print tread pattern. So, oh yeah, well that was also a Trident, so that was a bit bigger and more involved. This is going to be a box turtle, of which I've now built 7 of them. And I was debating, like, do I just get a bunch of heat set inserts and do all the heat set inserts beforehand, so I don't have to take a separate soldering iron just for heat inserts. But yeah. And then this past Saturday, we did the first maker meetup at A3DP, which is a local 3D printing shop in town. That went great. Von Deathheart was there, and we rebrained his artillery Sidewinder X1, and just chatted a lot, had a great old time. And that's a monthly thing that I'm the host of at A3DP. So we've got, what, 2 weekends? Then we're at Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival. We come back, and that next Saturday, I'm back there hosting the next Maker Meetup event. And then it's 2 weeks. We go to Murph, and we come back from Murph, and that first weekend back from Murph is doing another Maker Meetup down at A3DP. So it's going to be a busy summer. Going to be a busy summer. But yeah, hey Kit Skyfire. Yep, we're still doing a Turbo Snail. But ooh, a squirrel. You know, if I had a squirrel, I'll do a squirrel too. Just not tonight. Hey, Neural Nuts, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so for those of you that just recently joined in, this is my Trident 350, known as Cyberchonk. It was built from a set of DFH kits, white powder coated frame, pop blue and pop pink ASA. That's why we did Cyberchonk. It was kind of like, you know, I'm a cyber guy, Digital Dragon, so cyber something or other. It's the biggest printer I had, so it was Chonky Boy. Now we've updated it with a Siboor CNC all-wheel drive gantry setup with 9mm belts. So we should be able to get a little bit more tension going here. The tool head is the Takeoff tool head, which is an SLM metal 3D printed tool head. We got that from Luke's Labratory. And we got the Delta 3628 fans that are making all that racket for part cooling fans. It has a beacon probe, a beacon H probe to do Z-homing. So it taps for Z-homing and it does bed mesh via the eddy current scanning capability. We've got a Chube air hot end with a 100-watt heater, PT1000 thermistor, and a 1mm Undertaker hardened nozzle. All that's being driven by an FXD extruder from Advanced 3D Printing with a motor from Advanced 3D Printing. It's a NEMA 17 pancake style motor with a, I think it's a, I can't remember that. It's got a special number of 2 spur gear for it. It's basically an LGX that's 100% full metal and fairly slim. We are running an EBB42 CAN bus toolhead board. Even though the beacon goes all the way back to the motherboard and the fans go all the way back to the motherboard because they're 12 volts, it was easy enough to keep it as CAN bus because this printer was running a CAN bus toolhead previously. What else? And that's pretty much it. This is the first time it's really pushing plastic other than doing just a first layer test. I do a 120 by 120 by, 0.4 millimeter cube to do a first layer test to get your first layer calibrated in. Right now this is printing with a 0.4 layer height and 1.0 millimeter wall thickness, and it's running PLA at 235 because we're getting upwards of 44 millimeters cubed per second. And I just figured I would run it hot because I don't know. I know that Modbot, when he was running this toolhead setup, he wasn't running a 1.0 nozzle. I believe he was still running a 0.4 nozzle, but he clogged his nozzle and the FXD extruder just kept pushing and completely, like, solidly packed his tube hot end. He had to fully disassemble his tube to get it unclogged. So I'm trying not to do that. I currently have it running at 75% of the slice speed. With the 100% slicing, I did get a tiny layer shift right here and right here. And it was hitting like over 60 millimeters cubed per second. So what I'm going to do, once this print's done, I'll do some basic tuning on it. It may still be sitting here tomorrow night when we stream. But I want to do, like, standard stuff. Flow test. I won't worry about temp tower, but flow test, pressure advance, input shaping, the whole 9 yards, so that we can, excuse me, try and get some better prints. Okay. I've got the Creality going over here in the background. Let me pop over here real fast. So this X1C is printing stuff for the box turtle, for the LDO box turtle that's going to be built at Rocky Mountain. This one, which is now on its Devil 3D design, or Devil design, Devil Wears Prada extension feet, a lot more stable. I've printed out parts in Bamboo Lab Black ABS on that printer to make a riser that'll be vented, so I can run PETG and PLA in there with everything closed up. I can't run this and do meetings, but I can run this and stuff and do meetings. So we'll be doing that to do meetings. So I'll put the top hat on this, and I'm going to load up some Fibron PETG recycled CF08. It's a 3 kilogram spool. The plan is to slap it over here on the side and start running all of the dragster parts for KB3D in the carbon fiber reinforced PETG. So that way we'll have a pretty stout drag racer for KB3D. Thank you for the follow, Havoc548. Welcome on in. So yeah, got a few projects going on in the works. Quite a few things that are here, we're trying to get done for the show season. KB3D commissioned us at 3D Printopia for a death racer and a drag racer. So we've got to get those done for them. So, but yeah, this is kind of what I do at Digital Dragon 3D is I play around with printers. We do have several more printers that are going to be coming through here. We'll have the Centauri Carbon that'll probably be here after Murph at this rate. We have a Prusa Core 1 kit that's going to come in that we're going to put together on stream. We have a Ender 3 NG kit coming from Fabrico that we will put together potentially here, potentially at Echovate's new creator, content creator corner. So Echovate's going to be, they've got Fabrico's going to partner with them to sponsor a content creator area where people will be able to come in and do live streams from the store. I will be one of them. You finally caught me live. Well, awesome. Well, thank you. Welcome on in. And so I'm going to help them get that area set up, and I will do some stream content from there, and several of my printers will make the rounds through there just as background props because, well, we got the Annex Engineering K3 was a Fabrico build. The LH Stinger was a Fabrico build. The Baby Belt Pro was a Fabrico build. The Ender 3 NG is going to be a Fabrico build. There's a theme there of doing Fabrico builds. And yeah, one of the other things that we'll be doing is a full upgrade to the 0G Mercury 1 Ender 5 Plus based 0G Mercury 1. You all may know that I have a 0G Mercury 1 that I built on stream. It was a smaller Ender 5 Pro size. And that was built with a custom frame that I could not tell anybody about and could not give the specs for. That custom frame has finally been released out of beta after 2+ years. It's called Nebula. You can use my link, Bang KB3D. You can go out to KB3D right now and buy that using my link, which is a 5% discount. And then I get something back in the channel, which just means I spend more money at KB3D. But we're going to be building that at some point. It's most likely not going to start before Rocky Mountain just because I got to get stuff done. Your camera is mirrored left to right. This is my right. This is my left. I don't know. I keep trying to get it right to people, and I've sort of given up because I look up and I see right and left. I don't know. I'll work on it. I'll try and flip it, Timor, if I remember to. And it'll throw me off as I start to, it'll throw me off as I'm watching myself trying to do things. All your words are backwards. Uh-oh. Where was it? Oh, so at some point we will be doing that build. Hey, Hutch's Makerspace, welcome on in. And when we do that, we're going to kind of do it where we're going to just build the frame, right? It's a LDO space grade nebula frame. We'll build the frame and get that done. Then I will bring the other printer up here and we'll start taking things off the other printer. Now, when I say take stuff off the other printer, I'll take the linear rails, I'll take the whole triple lead screw Hydra Z-axis off, okay? The entire top gantry is being redone. We're going from printed parts and 6mm belts to a all CNC gantry, thanks to Turtle Crawler. He designed that, so I got Cut Send, ordered the parts, so I got the CNC parts from Cut Send. I've got all the hardware to convert it to 9mm belts. I've got some ideas for the tool head. You may see another tube with a 1mm nozzle in the future. What else? Yeah. 9mm belts, all metal, CNC kit with a tube, 1.0 nozzle. We'll probably still run a Sherpa extruder, though it might be a Sherpa all metal. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be my next major printer upgrade cycle. So that's some of the stuff that we have going on in the future works this year, along with the various projects like me and Creatix Brit are going to have our droids at 3D Printopia this year. We both let life get in the way for this for last year, but I will get Chopper, or yeah, I was doing Chopper and you were doing Cheap. So I will have Chopper. I will get BD0 done as well by 3D Printopia, as well as doing all the other commitments that I'm now committed to. Yeah. And I hope you're doing well, Pez. So Liz, I will tell you that Mrs. Dragon was actually wearing a Pez Liz shirt at the Maker Meetup this past weekend. Yeah, we will get them done eventually. Yeah, they will be there. They may not be, you know, like Droid Guild quality, but they will be there. Yep, Jedi Spidey confirmed. Yep, Jedi Spidey was there as well. And I may have seen a Jedi Spidey prototype maker chip that somebody has been helping them with. So, yeah, and folks, we will have merch at, well, let me rephrase it. I will have a bunch of merch at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest. If you want to see them, touch them, feel them, look at them before possibly buying them, I plan on having some there. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to be selling at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest. I don't intend to actually sell at any of the shows this season, just because I need to understand the tax situation a little bit better first. But I know, depending on the show, there's not just state, but county and city tax as well. It gets a little weird. Maker chip for Jedi Spidey is a Z&Z project. Oh no, the other Z&Z, Pez Liz and Zany Maker Zach. Gotcha. Not a ZNZ, but a ZNZ project. Even better. You're getting support from all the Zs. Nice. But yeah, for Rocky Mountain, we're bringing the maker chips that we still had left over from last year, and then I've got to start cranking some out for Murph and 3D Printopia. Hey, Monlight, how's it going, my friend? Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well today. We are pushing plastic. I know I'm not showing it. I was talking about some of the printers behind us, but we're pushing plastic on the Trident again. The motor from Advanced 3D Printing did come back in, or came in on Thursday. I got it installed, but today was the first time I've actually had the printer turned on since I got that installed. And it's not tuned at all. We're printing without tuning. You know, we need to get the belt stretched in before we tighten them down to final and start doing input shaping. And we got to do input shaping. We'll probably do input shaping, then flow rate testing, then pressure advance, and other stuff at that point. But right now we're printing with zero tuning, and I told it it's got a 1mm nozzle because it does, and I took a 0.6mm nozzle profile for a Trident and literally just called it a 100 testing profile. We're printing with a 0.4 layer height and a 1mm wall thickness. 3 walls, I think 15 or 20% infill. And I can tell that I need to work on retraction. I need to work on some other stuff. I'm printing really hot as well. Okay, I'm printing at 235C with PLA. And before you yell at me for it, it's because when I started this profile, I saw it spike to 70 millimeters cubed per second. And my biggest fear was what Modbot had, which was the FXD is going to push. Like literally, it is pushing. So if it's not able to push out the nozzle fast enough, it will clog and pack the tube tight. And I didn't want to get a clog, so I cranked the temp up and I've decreased the speed within the slicer down to 75%. I will tell you this, when I first sliced it, I didn't even think about it, and the max flow rate was set to 12. Okay, 12 millimeters cubed per second, max flow rate. And this was a 3+ hour print. Yeah, it was going to be 3.5 hours. I changed the max flow rate to 60 to see what it would do. And it dropped it to 1 hour and 42 minutes. And that was the only thing I changed, was the available max flow rate, which would then allow it to print like movement speed faster, right? So I am printing this pretty hot for PLA. This is Elegoo PLA. This is not a fast PLA. And yeah, it's been printing very well, considering there's zero tuning on it. The 0.4 millimeter layer height is going to be rougher than a 0.2 layer height, right? We're still working some things out. We need, like I said, need to get some tuning done on this printer, but the simple fact that it's pushing plastic is a win at this point. is pushing plastic, and it looks like a turtle, or excuse me, a snail. It's a turbo snail. So we're stringing a bit because we're pushing it at 235. The fans are crazy loud. They're 3628s running at 12 volts. They're server class fans for servers in a data center, which they don't care about the noise. They just care about the cooling. By the way, I'll say that the Creality is printing well. This is Bamboo Lab Black ABS on a textured plate, printed by the Creality K1C. Other than putting the Devil Design feet on it, it's still 100% stock. I do have a new nozzle to put in it. I may have something else, so I'm waiting to see if something else comes in so that I tear the tool head apart once instead of multiple times. But it is printing well, and now that this part's done, I will be setting it up to run the recycle or the PETG recycled carbon fiber 3 kilogram spool from Polymaker, so that I can start printing all the stuff for the KB3D drag racer. And once that nerd gets back to me, we're going to be building a Frax. I've got all the parts in and got all the parts printed to do that. So we'll build a Frax and mount it to the bench here eventually. Got the right direction. I think that was the last thing I needed to print in ABS before I do the other parts. Yes. Okay. You need to talk about the shirts that you wanted done as soon as you can get your PC build. Okay, sounds good. You do see the one and only Monlight. He is here. He is here. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays still. I'm probably going to start doing a bunch more ad hoc stream days as we get closer and closer to the show season, because con crunch is a real thing, and with the dates, where Murph and Murph are going to be pretty much stacked right on top of each other. Yes, you can. Links are open. You can drop it. So yeah, we've got Murph that we're getting geared up for. Right after that, we come back, and the following weekend we're at Ecovate doing the May Maker Meetup. And then a couple weeks after that, we go to Midwest Rep Rap Festival. We come back from there, and the following weekend is the June Maker Meetup at Ecovate. And I am hosting those. Apparently that is that is my baby now, so I'm hosting those. There may be a few other content related things that come out of my collaborations with Ecovate 3D. And by the way, I really do like using gray filament. So white filament hides any imperfections, right? White filament's really good at hiding imperfections. That's one of the reasons why when you get a sample roll from or literally a sample from most of your 3D printing companies, it's white filament. Okay? Because it's going to look the best in any 3D print that they do. And they expect you to use it with a 3D printed or a G-code file that's sitting on their printer. Gray is really good at showing all of the imperfections. So that's why I like using gray. And quite honestly, I've been buying the Elegoo gray by the case. So I may see if I can get a gray, especially a gray high flow from somewhere else, but I've been buying the Elegoo by the case because they have a 10 spool deal that's pretty decent. And yep, there's ModLight's Discord link. Please feel free to go and click that link and join ModLight's Discord channel. I am over there as well. I'm at all the Discords apparently. And if I don't respond to you on a Discord, to include mine, just DM me directly because I've got so many Discord servers I lose track. But if you get your PC build, you're going to build the 3D printed telescope that you've been talking about. Awesome. That'll be cool. That will be cool. Now, I will say, this is looking rough, but if you look at this model, it is very organic shape in nature, and you will see a bunch of what looks like roughness. This was done in Blender, I believe. This is why either Blender or this is an organic model. It's not supposed to be smooth-sided because the shell is never smooth-sided. Neither is, well, I guess a snail would be. He's kind of slimy. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely see the facets here. That is the way of the model. So some of this is the actual, like the model itself. Other parts are just, it's rough because we're probably over and under extruding, and I just need to do a bunch of tuning. Oh yeah, definitely, Monlight. I'd love to get something built like that. Hey, Shrimp Father, how are you? Welcome on in, my friend. Yeah, I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna stream. This is an impromptu stream because I needed to work on some things. And quite honestly, I was going to start building out the dragster for KB3D and decided that I was not going to use this frame, so I took it all apart. And I'm going to completely reprint the entire dragster because I'm going to use Polymaker PETG recycled carbon fiber filament. I've got a couple of their 3 kilogram spools, and the entire frame is going to be printed out of that. We're gonna do course, TPU tires and the TPU for the front and rear wing. I've also got some TPU here. I just ordered some more. So I ordered some TPU 95 from Polymaker because the words on stream are hard sometimes. We're going to attempt to do a multicolor. Yeah, we're going to try and do a multicolor tread pattern. So we're going to use the VCore, the Rat Rig VCore 4 IDEX to attempt that. If it works, great. If not, we'll go back and we'll just do standard, single color treads and be done with it. But we're going to try and make it work. And then I'm hoping that works. I printed out a spool mount that I'll be able to mount on the 3030 and run the two different spools of TPU for that. Still haven't quite decided on how I'm going to do the actual body panels. If I'm going to do single color, or if I'm going to try and do a multicolor print with their logo on it or whatnot. I think what I may do is do a single color print and leverage my wife's Cricut skills and do like decals. Try and do it that way. Havoc, you just want to finish your 0G Mercury 1? How much more do you have on your 0G? Hey Ozzy, welcome in. Oh, I know Monlight, but what I'm saying is I've got to get that body panel done for Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest. And the size I'm going to need, where can you find the dragster file? Not there. Give me 1 second. I believe I still have it there. There's the link for the files out on printables for the Top Fuel dragster that was designed by Edge of 3D, aka Scott. With Edge of 3D, he designed the drag racer. There's a belt-driven one, which is what I built for mine. And there's also a direct gear drive one. I think I'm going to build a belt-driven one for KB3D, just like mine. That way, if something breaks, we can rip it off mine if I need to get them up and running again. All right, sounds good. You just have to do the electronics bay? Okay. So Havoc, I gotta ask, was yours the 0G that was over at Echovate 3D by any chance? Or is this one that you've been working on? Okay. Well, definitely let me know if you have any questions. I've built a Ender 5 Plus size one. I've got a Ender 5 Pro size one over here that was with the custom frame, which has now finally been brought into the world, known as the Nebula frame. So there's now, we'll say, like 3 different mods that you can do. You have Mercury 1, which is the top Core XY gantry system. Hydra, which is the triple lead screw kinematic bed system. And now Nebula, which is a full frame replacement system that goes with their LVO frames. And KB3D has those, because that's where I sourced mine from. They're converting a Tronxy 330 instead of a VZ bot. Nice. Nice. So I've actually got a... I'm eclectic. So I've got the 0G Mercury 1 and an Inter 5 Plus and an Inter 5 Pro size. I've got a couple of Trident, I got a Trident 300, a Trident 350, two 2.4 borons, an NX Engineering K3, a VZBot 235, a LH Stinger, a couple of bamboos, Prusa Mark IV, a Prusa Mini, the Tivo Tarantula that got me started on this journey, a couple of Ender wire conversions. Did that? I think that, oh, it says complete. Completely enough, it completed and stopped right there. Nice. Let me, can I home X? Okay, well that's good. It blobbed right there on the end. Luckily enough, I was running it super duper hot, so. And yes, that is a home on X for this printer. So on this printer, because I am running a toolhead board and not just running a straight umbilical for everything, I have to home and then come off 50 millimeters. If I don't, when it comes back to home Y, the toolhead board hits the motor. So, because the motors are at the top instead of hanging underneath. You did both the M1 and Hydra. Yes, yes. So I did the Merc 1.1, and then I went ahead and did Hydra. Quite honestly, I don't think you need to do Hydra on the Ender 5 Plus. It is not a cantilevered bed. It is very, very well supported by the, I believe it's 10 millimeter rods and the 8 millimeter lead screw on each side. I didn't have a problem with it. I just did it because, like I said, I got a bunch of eclectic printers. I've got a Bugaboo. I've got, you know, I've done like 4 Rooks now. Standard Rook, Rook 2020 Mark 1, Rook 2020 Mark 2s. The Voron V0, I had it as a V01. It's now a V02 spec. Yeah, I just like building printers. It's all crazy. Do you have a Darwin, a Huxley, a Prusa Mini Original, Prusa Mark 1, and Prusa Box? I haven't done a Darwin or Huxley. I do not have a Prusa Mini Original. I have a Prusa Mini Plus. I don't have a Prusa Mark 1, though I've done a Prusa Mark 2 self-source build. But those are all pretty cool. If you follow me on X and Instagram, you'll see the project, because that seems to be a good place for them. You know, we're working on the Optimus P1 over at Echovate. There was a Raise 3D. I always forget which model it is. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you. But there was a Raise 3D that was brought in and basically just, here Ecovate have it. I don't have the space anymore, and I've got a lot faster printers at that print volume size, so I don't need it. So I get to play with that because it's not in a working state, so we need to make it a working state. Only 2-person mini original live. Yours and a person in Denmark who protested it for me. Okay. It is the Race3D Pro 2 Plus. So we get to work on that. Looks like they did the Slice Engineering replacement heat brakes on it. They don't have the proprietary Race3D nozzles, but the part cooling fan's not coming on. I don't know if any of the fans are coming on the tool head, and they tried to load filament and it wouldn't load. There's a clog somewhere in the filament path, and the filament path is like this long. It's like stupid obscene. It's like 150 millimeters, 200 millimeters long, maybe longer. So got to work on that. Let me pop this off. So yeah, the bottom is not as clean. So, but we were still playing with the offset and stuff. Like I said, there is a layer shift right here, and the thought of one right here. I think where I slowed it down, and it's a little, well, here we go. It's a little rougher. Got a little bit of stringing. We were running it really fast. Definitely rougher surface finish, but we can work on that. This is baseline starting point. Once again, 0.4 layer lines. Come on. So 0.4 layer lines. I am seeing some gapping up here, so we probably need to do a few more top and bottom layers. We'll do some temp towers. Like I said, we're running this way too hot. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't clog the nozzle. So we'll do some tuning on this, and we'll get this dialed in. But this is our baseline for the tuning tests on this. Hey, Tim, how's it going? Got co-print on M5 Pro, 90% done, just waiting on block mount to finish printing, then mount them on, hook up all hubs, etc. Nice. So you got a co-print and it's on your, you say M5 Pro, is that the Flashforge Adventure M5? I may actually have a co-print to play with shortly. Well, let me rephrase that. Yeah, I may have one that I can play with shortly. Because I have been asked to look at one and provide my opinion on it. So, fun. New things to play with. I just have to figure out time. Customer service is horrible. Sweet. That's good feedback to know. I know I reached out to Zombie to ask him his experience with it so far, and I think he is still working on getting everything set up and tuned in and running. but it was kind of, um, yeah, just trying to get everything set up has been, I guess, not bad, but he's kind of like me. He's got so many projects coming in and going on that it's how do we get everything done that we need to get done when we need to get it done by. So, but yeah, if I get my opportunity with that, I will just say it may not be filmed in the Dragon Den. Turkish-based company. Yep. The only thing that came out of FlashForge is Thingiverse. Yeah. Well, actually, the Adventurer series hasn't been that bad from the folks that I've seen that have it. It has not been bad. Um, it's the big thing there is the co-print. Like the thing that I see with the co-print is yes, it can go on a lot. There's a controller plug-in that you will allow you to run it on Marlin and will allow you to run it on Clipper, supposedly without having to do a bunch of, like, you don't have to recompile your Marlin and stuff like that in order to make it work. However, you know, I want 4 colors. Great, you're buying 4 extruders. Well, you know, so there's a lot to do there. Yes, if you just want one more color, you can just grab an extruder and add it. But it's, you know, I have to really look at it. I just think that so you say a lower dollar of bamboo. Here's the thing. I grab, even on an A1 or A1 Mini, I get the AMS Lite. I plug one cable in. I plug the 4 PTFE tubes in, and I go. And it just works. Co-print, if I want 4 colors, I'm figuring out how to install and mount 4 extruders, manage all of the filament, and then, oh, by the way, at least on the AMS Lite or even the AMS, it manages the buffer and the spool. On the ACE, on the Anycubic, it manages the buffer and the spool. It's so the co-print sort of, I'll say, MMU 3-ish in the sense that you've got a separate extruder, full setup extruder, where the MMU you have extruder gears with a shared extruder motor, but in the MMU-ish in the sense that you have to have a buffer. You have to have spool management, right? So the thing I like with AMS, the thing I like about the box turtle, if I need 4 spools, they're all 4 sitting right on top of the printer, and I don't need any excess space. Just sit on top of the printer. With the MMU, and this is the thing that still kind of irks me a little bit with the whole MMU ecosystem. Okay, please forget the clutter here. There's the printer, which continues to fail on that. Stop that. Here's the buffer, which is nice having it right here because this is where I get all the breaks, and I have to constantly deal with the PLA breaks. Well, let me rephrase that. If I'm printing consistently with the MMU, it's all good. It's when I let it sit for months that the filament breaks right there because it's been sitting out in the open air. Then for spool management, I've got the big tubes coming around into a rep box, right? You have to find some place, you're like, oh, I can run 8 colors. Great. Where are you putting the 8 spools, and how are you managing your filament between those 8 spools and it's some type of buffer and then into your printer? That's the biggest issue I have with some of those systems. And don't get me wrong, I love the MMU, and I worked with the MMU2 on my Mark III that was now over at Evil Diesel's house. He's upgraded it to an MMU3. I've got the Mark IV, not the S, but the Mark IV with the MMU3, and that ecosystem works fabulously. The MMU2 on the Prusa Mark III, as soon as I followed Chris's Basement's videos on how to get the length set for each lane, that's when I got perfect reliability at it. And the issues that I had there was filament breaking between the spool, the buffer, and the tool head, not failed changes, right? With the MMU3 and the Mark IV, like, I load up the appropriate colors and I can start printing maker chips again immediately. I'm using it as my, it's, the Mark IV right now is my TPU and my my clear PET G that I use for diffusers. I've got solid profiles for both of those on that printer, so that's kind of like my go-to. So on the Prusas, I prefer the MMU systems. The MMU3 and the Mark IV, or the MMU3 and the Core 1, there's a lot of integration because they own both those products and the electronics. There's a lot more communication between the buddy board and the board in the MMU. And they do a lot more error resolution without intervention now, right? After that, you cannot beat this system right now. I've got my ACE on the Anycubic downstairs. It works well. I like this ecosystem right here a little better, right? This is the best thing I've had for clipper soap, right? So that's why you see box turtles sitting up here on my Vorons. You get a tool head cutter, and this is magic. You prefer using Witchcraft over the AMS personally? Like I said, I'm just talking from my experience. They hit this out of the park, and there's a reason why Creality's CFS looks very similar. The ACE looks very similar, right? Funny enough, the ACE comes out with a heater, and what just came out of this company, right? Well, and that's what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong, these have been workhorses in the Dragon Den. They have been. But I've got thousands of hours on these two printers right here. And there's a reason that there is a box turtle on both of them. I know I need to actually get the helmet and stuff off there and actually start using it. And that's, these two will be pumping out coins soon, right? Yeah, I will tell you, like right now, this one right here, lane 1, I'm not using. It's making some weird noises. Now, with that being said, this was my first X1C that I bought at, or right after Rocky Mountain as we were coming home. And this one has consumed some glass-filled and carbon-filled filament. It's, you know, I've probably done things to it that it shouldn't have had. and I'm going to have to go and replace parts because of it. That's the only issue. Hey, Mid-South makers, welcome on in. Thank you for the raid of 3. I so appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your group with me. But yeah, I mean, for a system that unboxes and just works, this is the mark to meet right now. Right? Now, if you get a Prusa fully assembled Prusa Core 1 with an MMU3 or Mark IVS with a MMU3, they're going to work a treat as well. Because they own that ecosystem and they're doing tip ramming and they do it well. And if a tip forming doesn't work out and it has an issue to load, it has an automated error correction that will cut the filament at the MMU3 and attempt more reloads. So I had less intervention issues with the Prusa Mark IV with MMU3 system because of that tighter integration. This ecosystem works well because of their tight integration, whether you like the company or not. This is the closest thing we have to a kitchen appliance in the 3D printing world, right? Does that mean I'm going to stop doing this stuff? No. We just talked about this upgrade to the Trident 350, where we're now running a tube with a 1.0 nozzle. We're going to completely redo the 0G Mercury 1 Ender 5 Plus size with the new Nebula frame, with CNC gantry system and 9mm belts. Thank you, Turtle Crawler, you enabler, you. You know, we'll probably throw a tube on that one as well because it's a large size printer that does helmets. So why not throw something at it that can do high melt volumes? You know? Have you looked at the lettuce feeder? You mean this thing that's still sitting in my tabs that I may or may not have downloaded the files for? Yes. Yes, I have. There will be one built. This fellow right here is awesome. Rocky Mountain last year, he was sitting at the table right next to it. Didn't realize it. And then when Thunder Keys reached out to me and said, hey, I think you would be definitely interested in this. If you are, reach out to Robert right now. And I did. And I was immediately entered into the beta program. And I will tell you, you know, the box turtles, I built 7 of them. Zombie Hedgehog has one that I built for him. I was going to rebuild one of mine, and I actually fully built it from a new frame. So the one that I was starting to rebuild is sitting right here. So he basically got a brand new build, and I will be building one at Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival. So that should tell you my thoughts on the box turtle. And so yeah, I will be building the Happy Turtle lettuce feeder. So is it too hard to build a box turtle? No, it really isn't. It does get fiddly when you're starting to put everything together and get it all plugged into the board, but that's just because you start running out of space. It's like doing any printer. I mean, this one, when we flipped it over, I was like gobsmacked because it was a 350 size with it was running a Manta M5B, or M5P, so the host and the controller were in the same footprint, and we were using a UHP 200. I swapped this out for a UHP 300 because I put a 100 watt heater in the toolhead here. So, and yes, it took a while. It did take a while. I was building mine from CAD, but that was one of the things for the LDO beta kits is they were not going to ship the box turtle until the documentation was done. LDO wouldn't let them. And that documentation is perfect. And the HTLF build is out in the documentation. The turtleneck, the standard buffer, turtleneck 2 with the optical sensors on the buffer are out there. Whatever the Filamatrix mod that Thunderkeys did, that's documented out there. So the entire ecosystem for Box Turtle is out there now. And the documentation is great. So I was impressed with that. Uh-oh, ad. A lot of ad breaks. But yeah, I love the Box Turtle. And like I said, it's going to be the point where I'm not going to try and do them between now and Rocky Mountain Rep Fest. I've just got too many other things, and I need printers running to get those projects done. And I'm on a shared 15 amp circuit up here, meaning this room, the lights in the laundry room, and the garage are all on the same circuit. And I pop this one routinely because I keep forgetting that we've got the freezer, a spare freezer in the garage. So I won't think twice about it, and I'll have 4 printers going, and 2 of them will do a heat cycle on the bed at the same time, and I'll pop the circuit. So I need to run printers to get parts for the projects that I've committed to for Rocky Mountain done. And then when I get back from Rocky Mountain, these 2 are going to be up and running doing coins the whole time. So, but yeah, I love the box turtles. That's why I'm going to build one at the show. I was asked if I was going to bring this to the show, the Trident 350 running the Chube hotend. I'll think about it. I need to have a printer that I can print ABS parts in case I have to reprint anything for the box turtle because it breaks. My plan was to bring the smaller 0G Mercury because it'll print everything on it. And it's so I'm kind of stuck because I may be bringing another person. So me and Evil Diesel are driving the truck. Mrs. Dragon's driving her car. But Mrs. Dragon may take longer to drive back because she may spend a little bit of time there with her mom and brother and our oldest son before she comes back. I've got to come back because of that thing called work. But I may wind up having a tag-along come back from Rocky Mountain with me. And if that happens, then I'm definitely going to need the space and not have other printers in the truck. But that's another thing I'm trying to figure out. So all that said, folks, we've got the printer. It prints. Everything's working. We need to tune. I know we need to tune. We got to work through that now. We will be streaming tomorrow night. I do not know if this is going to be up on the bench tomorrow night or if we're going to start working on something else, like either doing some more stuff to Mrs. Dragon's Death Racer, maybe some of the KB3D Drag Racer stuff. It depends on how much stuff I can get printed between now and the stream starts. But we're going to be working on something, and we will probably be streaming more than just Tuesday and Thursday. If I'm up here working, I might as well start streaming and just have you guys here while I'm working it. Hey, I'm out here. Make sure when you can hit me up on Discord. We'll be back around now. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Monlight. Meanwhile, let me check real fast and see who we could raid out to. Because I'm not used to running on a Monday night. Let me see who's up and running. Speaker deck is DNA. Ding. Oh, you guys want to, how about this? We haven't done this one in a while. Let's go raid into ZNZ. I've gone ahead and got that raid going or started. Please, everybody, go with me as we head on out on this raid. Once again, thank you all for being here. I know it was an impromptu stream. We went 3.5 hours still. Imagine that. Digital Dragon stream. Thanks again for being here. We are streaming tomorrow night, so regular night. So be prepared for that. Yeah, thanks for being here. Go along with me as we raid over into Pezliz. I'll see you all tomorrow night. You guys have a great night. Bye now. And if you're watching this stream later on YouTube, thank you so much. If you like what you see, please feel free to like and subscribe below. Hit that bell and make sure you get notified of new content. And speaking of new content, YouTube's going to be suggesting a video for you right over there. Thanks a lot. Have a great